I'm a black cement 3.
What's going on, guys? Pixelated here, back at it again with another review. Today we are looking at a pair of retro sneakers that absolutely shocked the world when Nike announced they're re-releasing them. It's the Air Jordan 3 in the legendary Black Cement 3 colorway. Many consider this to be the best Air Jordan ever created. I'm not one of those people. I do prefer the 4s and the 1s over them, but I can't understand why they would think that. The Air Jordan 3 has a very distinct place in the Nike and Jordan brand legacy. It was important in many ways, one of those ways being actually keeping Michael Jordan on Team Nike, because for all we know, without the Jordan 3, we might be seeing retro Jordan shell toes. Or Chuck Taylor Jordan 14s or something. Pretty much the history of this shoe goes as follows in an abridged version. Now, famed designer Peter Moore designed the Jordan 1, Michael Jordan and everyone loved it. Then he worked with Bruce Kilgore and designed the Jordan 2. Jordan and everyone hated it. He was on the verge of leaving Jordan brand if they didn't correct this. They dumped these designers, brought on now even more famed designer Tinker Hatfield. He designed this magnificent shoe right here, and good old Michael was ecstatic. He jumped for joy, gave Sir Hatfield a gigantic bear hug, although the height difference meant his nuts were at Tinker Hatfield's face level, so it wasn't the most wanted hug. Okay, that last part was made up, but Jordan was back on Team Jordan after that. Shout out to Team Jordans. So when it comes down to it, these were essentially the saving grace of the Air Jordan legacy. These released globally on February 17th. As for how I got my pair, I stayed up during our grueling Canadian Nike.ca launches that always happen at 3 a.m. because they don't want us to get our sleep, y'all. The Illuminati agenda is to keep us from getting proper sleep, so we stay enslaved to our desk jobs and come back home to catch up and continue the cycle. Conspiracy theory alert! But all joking aside, I was able to secure my pair through the online drop. One of the few times I was able to get through on the site, probably my second since the Off-White drop. It's crazy how few times I get through on Nike on these hype drops. The Air Jordan 3 was the first Jordan to ever have a visible air unit in the midsole, but this was kind of a cheat code for Tinker because the midsole was taken from the Nike Air Revolution, which consequently was also designed by Tinker. The elephant print you see on the sneaker comes from wanting to continue the luxurious feel of animal print and exotic leathers being used on the sneaker. This was the one good inspiration, or inspo for you insta-heavy folk, that was taken from the Jordan 2 for the Jordan 3. The Jordan 2 had iguana textured leather mid panels, and so the 3 was designed with elephant print to continue that premium feel for the product line. Clearly it worked because it still continues to run in the lineup to this day. The Black Cement 3 doesn't release often. In fact, Jordan 3s in general don't release often, as there was once a time Jordan brand even announced that they're going to stop producing 3s for the foreseeable future. Of course they are dropping plenty this year, but I promise you that's not a trend that's going to continue into the next year. So if you want any of the 3s, you better be gunning for them during this year's releases. The last time the Black Cement 3s released was in 2011, so that's about 7 years from now. That should give you an idea of how rarely these releases come along. Like, the world may pretty much end before the next Black Cement 3 release, and Nike and Jordan brand wouldn't bat an eye. Now, I don't own a pair of 2011 Black Cement 3s. I was broke as fuck during this time. Those were my university years where the thought of paying over $100 on shoes made my bank account go ghost. But I can say the few things that changed are obviously the Nike Air logo on the back. On the 2011 release, it was the Jumpman logo. It's really interesting to see how much that one logo change makes a shoe more hype, but it works flawlessly every single time. And the second being the elephant print, it just had a slightly different look to it on the 2011 pair. As for everything else, it's pretty much the same thing. The upper of the shoe is primarily all black with hits of gray, red, and of course animal print. The upper has the super soft black full grain tumbled leather that makes the toe box, mudguard, and the top eyelet panels wrapping around the heel. The Nike Air branding is also attached with thick rubber in gray on the heel with an all black rubber heel tab. This leather is super soft, and I'm not always a fan of tumbled leather, but it just seems to be too appropriate on this shoe. Like, this shoe probably wouldn't look nearly as good if the black leather was smooth all over. It'd just look like a black jelly bean with animal print ink hits or something. You have gray hits all over the shoe. The inner panel surrounding the tongue and housing the lace cage is gray and perforated for breathability. The tongue itself is gray and made of a soft leather up top with a red Jumpman logo stitched into it. The underside is formed with red fabric. Classic Black Cement 3 hits right here. The laces are flat black. The ankle area is hella padded and is made of gray perforated leather on the outside and gray fabric on the inside. The Black Cement 3s have these red eye stays, of which there are 5 on each side, but you only see the laces going through 2 of them. Standard practice. The rest are essentially there for design purposes. And of course we have the shining armor of the shoe, the elephant print patches that form the toe cap and the heel counter of the shoe. The classic leather print that catches everyone's eyes and makes the shoe extremely unique. We then have an all-white midsole with an exposed air unit and the gray outsole with hits of red. red and white and Nike branding in red. The shoe also came with the Nike Air hang tag, which is inherently favorable to the pairs that came with the Jumpman hang tag. The shoe came in the classic Jordan 3 box with the bottom printed with elephant print. Now when it comes to comfort, it's a standard Jordan 3. They didn't add zoom or react in the shoe, so don't expect anything new when it comes to that. It's a classic sneaker with classic cushioning tech. These are more style icons than anything. And yes, even though it's 2018, it's perfectly good and well to buy sneakers for something other than comfort. Just keep in mind, if you're going to a sneaker or streetwear fashion event, you will get a little bit of clout factor from the OGs of the game if you own a pair of these. I don't know how much though, maybe like 5 clouts from each OG you see. Some might consider that a lot, but that's just chump change for me. So that might be something to think about. If clout factor isn't your currency, hype factor might be more down your line. When it comes to hype factor, you're getting about 5 hype coins also. Truthfully, it could have been more, but Jordan Brand decided to make these an enormous GR, so that's good for the public, but not good for your hype wallet. That currency is definitely trending downwards when it comes to this release, know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's all good and fun to add a few hype coins and clout factor into your imaginary hype wallet, but that's not what it's about. And here's the real truth about these Black Cement 3s and why I probably won't wear these after this review. Black Cement 3s are a staple in an OG's collection. They're a pair of shoes that go for insane amounts. If you have any of the older pairs before this release in good condition, or you just follow sneakers like that, you're aware just how coveted these shoes are. But as someone who's never fazed by the marketing or nostalgia of older sneakers, I mean almost never, no one's perfect, I still want them classic sneakers in the collection, and as much history as there is to these sneakers, I just have never been the biggest fan of 3s. Don't get me wrong, I think they're beautiful, I think the history behind this shoe is great, but I know I'm not going to wear these shoes for many reasons. Like, I've never owned a pair of 3s in the past. They don't mean much to me. The history isn't something that'll make me love the shoe more, because at the end of the day, it is just a shoe. So based on how much wear these would get from me, regardless of the history, clout factor, and iconic status of these very sneakers right here, the Black Cement 3s, I can't see myself wearing these after this review. So, does that mean they're going to waste? Absolutely not. I'm passing them off to a friend, but does that also mean they're not a good shoe? Not in the least. They're an excellent pair of shoes with the aforementioned qualities of what make a good shoe. The materials are great, the story is great, cemented deep into basketball culture. Did you catch that? Cemented deep? Nah? Okay, anyways, it's an iconic shoe, and if you're into that, or if you just love the look of this shoe, then this shoe is for you. I'm stepping out of these shoes, but that doesn't mean that you have to as well. If you took anything from this review, please hit that like or sub button. Let me know your thoughts about the Black Cement 3s in the comment section below. Did you cop, drop, or did you take an L even with all the efforts Nike took to make these a GR, aka a general release? Let me know in the comments. I'm out of here. Catch you later. Pixelated is a Black Cement 12.